Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Jonathan, also known as DJ Wiggles, and I wanted to go over a brief MOS calculation of COSTCO. And I'm just mostly going to be going over the mechanics here. Wanted to talk about the details. I've got my Excel template right here, and I'll walk through it step by step. It's really simple. I'll show you how to build your own, and we'll get started. Okay, so the first things that we're going to need are we need the current earnings per share, and then we need a growth rate. I'm not going to walk through how to get the growth rate in this video. We do talk about that on our Zoom calls sometime. If you stay till the end, I give you a link to our group where you can join our calls if you'd like. Perfectly free, just a group of individual amateur investors talking about different companies. But for this example, I'm going to use a 7.8% growth rate. And if I want to check my growth rate and earnings per share, I'm going to head on over to stockrow.com. Just a quick plug, I really like this site because immediately I could type in the name of my company, I could see the price, I could see some key metrics here, I could see insider ownership, current ratings for both individual investors and analysts. I could see the analyst growth rate expected over the next 5 years, some other metrics, that's the Petrovsky F-score. Of course, my full stock chart with candles, different ranges here. And here's the thing I really like. You can see 10 years worth of metrics here. And so I can see the trends in these going across time. And if I look at 2019 and I come down to earnings per share, there's my $8.32, which I was looking for. So $8.32. And then one other quick thing here is if I go to snapshots, I can look on different pages, but I can see these neat little graphics over time. So I can see what revenue growth has been doing. I can see my operating cash flow versus CapEx. And that kind of gives you a rough estimate of free cash flow. I can see return on invested capital. How's that been working out? Margins. You can look at the share count over time. Is it issuing shares or diluting shares? And then, of course, price to free cash flow. If you get 10 or less, that's an automatic 10 cap right there. All right. So back to the task at hand, I got my earnings per share of $8.32. So I've got that put in right here. So as I mentioned, I'm going to use 7.8% growth rate. I'm putting that in decimal form, 0.078. And then we've got to do a check here. So does the growth rate exceed analysts' expected growth rate? And if it does, you're supposed to use the analyst growth rate. So in this case, yes, it does. The growth rate we're supposed to use was 0.07. So while I do believe that this is the correct growth rate, which again, I'll discuss on some Zoom calls in the future, we'll go ahead and for the sake of this example, we'll put in 7%, which was the analyst growth rate. So the next thing I need to do is figure out my future price to earnings ratio. I'm interested in the future, not the current one. And so basically what I'm going to use here is 2 times the growth rate. So growth rate of 7%, PE of 14. If I had a growth rate of 15%, PE of 30, growth rate of 10%, PE of 20, growth rate of 5%, PE of 10. You get the picture. And one thing to be careful here with Excel is I used 200 times my value, and again, that's because I'm using the decimal form. So 200 times the growth rate in decimal form, or just if you're using the regular number, just 2 times. So either way, it comes out to 14. There we go. Earnings per share, we mentioned $8.32. It's right here. So the next thing I'm going to calculate is my growth factor. And so basically, I'm going to see how much earnings are going to grow over the next 10 years based on this 7% growth rate. So if you can look at my formula here, it's 1 plus J8, which is my growth rate, J8 right here. And then I simply take that to the 10th power. That stands for 10 years. If I was going to grow out to a different number of years, I'd use a different number there. But I'm only growing for 10 years. So I get this factor here. So this is basically a multiple of what earnings will be 10 years from now, if indeed the company does grow at this rate of 7%. So 1.967 and change. All right, so then I get my future earnings per share, as we discussed. It comes out to $16.36. And again, that's simply my growth factor right here, J18, times my earnings per share, J13. You can see the formula right here. Here are the cells. So basically $8.32 times my growth factor is $16.36, 10 years from now. Okay, so what I really want to figure out is what's my future stock price? So in order to get the future stock price, I'll take my future earnings and multiply it by my future PE ratio, which is right here. So as you can see here, future stock price, $229.13, J19 times J10, so that's future earnings per share times the future PE value. That's simple. Okay, but now I got to bring that back to today. So in order to bring that back to today, I use a discount factor. And so similar to a growth factor, it's a discount factor, except this time I'm going to use 15 because I want a required return of 15% every year. So 1 plus 0.15, so 15 in decimal form, and again raise to the 10 power, and I get this number right here. So then I simply divide the future stock price by my discount factor to get today's sticker price, which is $56.64 about. And then for my margin of safety, I simply take the sticker price and divide it in half. So that's all it is 50% of the sticker price is the margin of safety price, which is $28.31. Now, that is ridiculously low for Costco, as we'll discuss in our upcoming call, and I don't think that is the right valuation for this company, but I did want to use it for this example to kind of walk through it. Costco currently trades, as I think you might have seen a second ago, at $300.45, so more than 10 times the amount of the margin of safety price. But again, I think that this is too low for a couple of other reasons. Wanted to show you a quick shortcut. So if you look here, if we're always asking for a 15% return and a 50% margin of safety, then simply I could take this discount factor, multiply it by 2 to get 8.09, and I'll take any future stock price, divide it by this number, and I'll get my MOS price. It's a constant as long as I'm asking for a 15% annual return and a margin of safety of 50%. Well, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed my Costco video. Wanted to do a quick plug here. So we also have a Facebook group. It's Mr. Markets Irregulars. Here's the link, www.facebook.com/group/Mr. Markets Irregulars. We do weekly Zoom calls, approximately. Anyone is welcome to join. We're all experience levels. We're just individual investors talking about different companies, market trends, sometimes options, things like that. Of course, our discussions are never investment advice. It's just for education only. We have lots of people with different backgrounds all over the world. We're just trying to help each other. And the only requirement to join our group, to join our calls, is basically you have to agree to follow the golden rule, which is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's it. We'd love to have you. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. Bye-bye.